Friday session on MongoDB and MongoDB-as-a-Service, the webinar from OVHcloud. I give a quick intro into what OVHcloud actually is, and after that I will talk about Database as a Service and then about MongoDB, and then I will give you a short demo of how to book, and then I'll let you know about the beta which is currently ongoing, which allows you to use the whole service for free. OVHcloud in 5 minutes, and I promise should not be a lot longer. OVHcloud is the #1 European cloud player based in France, coming out of France, has been founded by Octave Clabat approximately 20 years ago, and is a European cloud provider. So we are offering open, trusted, highly secure and data sovereign European clouds, which are fully compliant with GDPR and with the privacy rules and data sovereignty rules that are valid in Europe. We offer a number of different cloud services. So we offer bare metal, hosted private cloud, public cloud, and virtual private servers. Of course, you can also buy storage. We have network and security. We have 32 data centers in 12 locations around the globe, 34 points of presence, approximately 2,300 employees currently. And we have an energy efficiency indicator for our data centers, which is at 1.09, and this is based basically on our water cooling architecture for our data centers, which allows us to have a very special and very good power usage efficiency, which is, for example, in other data centers around 1.4 or 1.6, and we are proud about our 1.09 in the data centers that we have. We are based in France, as I said, so that's why we are all in all European. I told you already about our water cooling. Our water cooling is the basis also for our architecture. So we have dedicated server architecture, we have a dedicated data center architecture, and that implies that we are not going to go for co-location. We're not using servers from other vendors as they are delivered, because we have to change everything into our water cooling architecture. That makes us European unique, but on the other hand, it makes us also free. So we are independent of the legal regulations that are coming through other countries or other regions like China or the United States. And we are free from Cloud Act, we are free from Chinese regulations, which are obviously not as transparent as, for example, the Cloud Act or Freedom Act. And that makes us fully compliant for all GDPR rules. And also, of course, we are, based on that, a founding member of, for example, Gaia X, because that is the full European data sovereignty that we built by design out of our DNA in the end. We are proud to be leading in the hosted private cloud area, and also being the only European provider for public cloud that has been mentioned in the IDC quadrant in the year 2020. So last year, you can see we are a small circle, but we are the only European circle, and that's what we are proud of. So we are seen, and we are based on our European DNA. We have actually 4 universes that we are offering. We are offering bare metal cloud, hosted private cloud, public cloud, and web cloud. This is servers or dedicated hardware, and then the last 2 offers are based on shared hardware. The 3 cloud offers, apart from web cloud, are connected via a private network, the VRAC, and you can directly connect to it via OVHcloud Connect. We offer anti-DDoS when we connect to the public network, and we have 20 terabits per second in the network access to the public network. We talk today about database as a service, and because of that, we are focusing on public cloud. So that's why I put this UR here, because we are looking at our public cloud offering and database as a service based on our public cloud offering. So what is database as a service? Why is that a hype? Why are we talking about it currently? Overall, we have to say, I need to take this away here for a second so that I can see the slide properly. Overall, we see that a lot of companies are driving their digitalization, and the key building block of a lot of these digitalization and process changes are databases. So we need databases in order to manage our processes, our digital activities, and 75% of all databases are expected over the time until 2023, actually by Gartner, to be migrated to the cloud. So of course we have already today a lot of databases. Every one of us is running databases if we need them for our processes, but a lot of them are still on premise. And we will see a move to the cloud, and we will talk about why in a second, more and more in the upcoming years. And especially we are in the middle of this cloudification of databases currently. And of course, the cloudification for databases brings a lot of discussions about security with it, because the data that is stored in the databases can be more or less critical. And depending on the criticality of these databases, we need to have, of course, a secure and data sovereign solution underlying your database architecture. So we are talking about infrastructure and platform as a service, and all in all, this needs to be in a secure environment. And if we look at databases, database as a service is what we call platform as a service from an architectural level, and that means we talk about different solutions. There are different ones around there, like Cassandra, Kafka, Postgres, SQL, but today we talk about MongoDB. And it's important for your database migration from on-premise or bare metal to the cloud, that you have the full control about the speed, about the cost, and of course that you don't lose your innovative power by being having to rely on a cloud provider in the end. So the selection of the cloud provider, the selection of the database as a service, the PaaS solution is very important in order to ensure that you keep your data governance, your data security, your cost under control, and keep the innovative speed in your system. So we see that currently only 20% of the enterprises, according to Forrester, are running their apps in the cloud. So there is a very, very big potential out there for cloudification and for digitalization. And this is, of course, every one of us knows that, empowered and pushed by the corona situation and the COVID crisis. But that's not the only reason for it. It's the overall tendency and the overall strategy to move more and more things from an old world scenario into the cloud. And this brings you to the question, if I want to cloudify my situation, I have to look at some challenges that are coming with me with this cloudification, with this move to the cloud. And the one is, how can I strengthen my data governance? Currently, if you have your database on premise, everything is under your governance, and you might think it's safe. That can be more or less the case, but if you move to the cloud, you have one more player in the game. That's the cloud provider. And you need to make sure that your data governance still stays strong, also in this new triple play in the end, where you and your database and your cloud provider are playing together and have to play together. And you need to be, on the other hand, able to avoid technical vendor lock-ins. So if you go to a cloud provider that has a very specific solution that is only working in his environment or its environment, to put it correctly, and that does not allow you to easily change, then you come into a lock-in. And if you combine that with a cost control situation, then it's important to have to avoid vendor lock-ins. And you avoid vendor lock-ins as well on the PaaS as on the IaaS layer. That's important, because otherwise you are stuck with your provider, and you have to pay the prices that this provider is asking for. And that means that you also have to look at the cost control. And of course, on-premise is more a CapEx play, and we are going to OpEx play here. But you still can have different contractual situations, and these contractual situations might be a little bit less transparent or more transparent, depending on the price scheme that you're using for your cloud infrastructure and for the platform as a service. And then, of course, you don't want to waste or lose time to market. So the overall migration should be fast, and also the changes that you are doing then for your cloud database should be as easy as before, or even easier, or even faster. And you should be also able to extend and decrease your the workloads, for example, or so you need to be scalable. And all this has to be done together in this new setup that you are looking for if you want to go for a database as a service. The database as a service market itself will be around $24.8 billion by the year 2025. And we have a big increase potential here. And NoSQL segment is one of the biggest growing segments in this database as a service market. North America, not a big surprise, is going to lead this way into the cloud, but of course Europe is very close behind, and we will see that a lot of also banking, financial services, insurances, verticals will move in their databases more and more into the cloud. We can see that also in the public sector, where a lot of public governance authorities are looking for cloud solutions to get rid of the on-premise databases that are all running with own people, with own hardware, with own costs and capex in the end. So there is a constant rise in this data generation on the one hand, because we know that more and more data is produced and needs to be stored. And on the other hand, we need to manage this increasing number of data and increasing volume of data. And this needs to be done in a efficient way. And that's why the growth of NoSQL databases is moving ahead. If you look at the database as a service world today, we see a number of players there. So, for example, MySQL, PostgreSQL, Redis, etc. So they have all their different positioning. And we are talking today about MongoDB, which is a NoSQL player with most popular usage in web apps, e-commerce, IoT, etc. What is the advantage of database as a service? Why are we talking about database as a service overall? And compared to deploying a database management system on premise or on a bare metal server yourself, the database as a service solution that we are offering now allows you to rely on OVHcloud to manage everything around the database itself. So you do not need to have own staff trained to manage and install, for example, the database itself, in this case MongoDB. This is done by OVHcloud, and you have a costs control, because around the public cloud usage we have a pay-as-you-go pricing scheme with full price transparency. Also, the operational activities. So we have a growing amount of unstructured data that needs a scalable database. So we need to have the capability to increase, to breathe, to make your database bigger if the amount of data is increasing. And you need to provision additional storage, additional computing power, and you need to do that on a short time frame. And that's, of course, in a cloud scenario, much easier. And if you then have the enterprise-grade security around it, it is much better for you to have a cloudified database solution instead of an on-premise solution, because we know scalability on-premise is a big challenge. And of course, it allows you also to have a good scenario, for example, for risk reduction, because you can have backup scenarios, you can have disaster recovery scenarios in your cloud, and you will see that this is included in the MongoDB package that we will be offering in a few minutes when I'm moving on with the slides. So what we try to do is we try to ensure that our databases are based on, or the databases that we offer, and in doing so also MongoDB, is based on our sustainable infrastructure services, which are actually our core business, the OVHcloud core business, as I mentioned before. And we will offer a number of database as a service solutions in a few months, and we're starting with MongoDB now, and this will be done in order to allow you to have a solution portfolio that is fully supporting your full data science journey. And on the other hand, you can use the public network and a private network for hybrid scenarios. So if you, for example, want to have a private hybrid scenario with a OVH public cloud, and then you want to use some storage out of the OVHcloud bare metals portfolio, then you can do that, and you can manage this via the private network that is combining and connecting all our infrastructure solutions. But you can also have a hybrid and multi-cloud scenario via the public network if you want to do that, and say, I want to make a mixture between my current on-premise solution, and I want to have a part of my on-premise solution combined with the MongoDB solution on public cloud at OVHcloud, and that you can do via the public network, and then you use, for example, OVHcloud Connect as a secure connectivity solution. So that was a database as a service. Let's have a look at MongoDB now, because we obviously talk about MongoDB. MongoDB is a fully managed service for databases. So MongoDB is a software service that organizes and manages data. Okay, we could have thought about that because it's a deep database solution, and it allows you to process, store, and utilize inside the applications. But why MongoDB? Because we have seen there are a number of different database as a service solutions, and why are we looking at MongoDB, and why do we, OVHcloud, partner first with MongoDB? Because MongoDB is, according to different analyses, the most wanted database out there currently. If you look at this up here, you can see MongoDB is by far the most prominent and the most requested database solution in the market. And it's also the number, if you look at the number of downloads, of the software downloads for MongoDB shell solution or Atlas solution, then they are increasing and growing year by year, and more than doubling currently. So that's says basically that MongoDB is the most wanted and obviously one of the leading databases, and that's also supported by the Forrester Wave, because Forrester shows here this different cloud providers and database as a service providers, and MongoDB is the one up here. Where's my mouse? It disappeared. There. Up here, that's MongoDB, and it's obviously the leader in the database as a service, NoSQL world at all. And that means if we combine the capabilities of OVHcloud and MongoDB, then we have on the one hand, and that was the 5 minutes in the beginning, the leading European trusted cloud with all the capabilities that you have around data security, data sovereignty, independency of Cloud Act, etc. And the simple and transparent pricing solution on the IaaS world. And on the other hand, you add the most wanted NoSQL database platform in an enterprise-grade feature set. And this together allows us to serve a big market out there that is asking for a European data sovereign solution for NoSQL databases as a service. And this can be done in this unique combination, which is very unique in the European market, because you can, of course, buy today MongoDB Atlas on AWS or on Azure. You can do that, but it is coming with different solutions. On the one hand, you have a different infrastructure as a service provider below it. And on the other hand, MongoDB Atlas is actually managed by MongoDB and not by OVHcloud. And that has a cost impact, obviously, as well. So MongoDB itself is, there are a number of use cases you can use it for, and we just look at a few here. One of them, of course, is mainframe offloading or the personalization. But you can also use it, for example, for Internet of Things. And we know Internet of Things is the world outside where everything is connected via a little sensor, and the sensor is sending data, and tons of data, small data snippets only, but tons of data are arriving in your databases. And this can be managed better via NoSQL database, and that's what our MongoDB is ideal for. We have also then, of course, a single view where you can look from all your devices and applications on this real-time data update that you are running in your MongoDB. So MongoDB as a service, as we want to offer it on public cloud, means that OVHcloud is deploying, running, and scaling the leading NoSQL database for our customers. MongoDB itself provides this flexible data model, and we come to a little overview of the features, but just a small one. We're not doing an extensive MongoDB training, but this is what MongoDB adds to it. And OVHcloud will take care of the database service management and will make sure that the setup, the maintenance, the security, etc., is all taken into account. And that gives the developers much more freedom to say, okay, I can focus on what my core business is, and I don't need to have a database provider. I don't need to have someone who is taking care of my backup solutions. I don't need to have someone taking care of whether my end-to-end solution is really secure and a firewall and anti-DDoS secure, etc. That's all done by this combination of OVHcloud and MongoDB. And that allows you then to have cost control over all of your over the whole installation, because you have the cost control that OVHcloud is offering, and then you have a transparent model, which I show at the end of MongoDB licensing. You have the full data governance, because the data governance is coming with the infrastructure as a service provider below, which is then ensured by OVHcloud. And you can innovate faster because you can focus on your main tasks and your main development, and you do not need to take too much care about the JSON data model or the query language. Just a short look at some of the features that are coming with the solution. So we have document databases, of course. We have a rich query language, which is automatically coming with MongoDB, provided by MongoDB, which allows a data aggregation, text search, different search ways of searching. You have flexible schemas. Of course, you can be horizontal scalable because on the one hand, you have the scalability of the data of the infrastructure down under the PaaS layer, so to say. But on the other hand, MongoDB is also enabling to share capabilities across different virtual machines and across different database clusters. And MongoDB in itself provides a high performance for your data management and data persistence, and it reduced the I/O activity due to the algorithms that are included into MongoDB automatically. We will provide this solution with an included backup. So there is automatically a backup solution included for your database. It's in the package. And we do have replica nodes, which allows you to create replica nodes. And these replica nodes can create a high availability, because you can set up disaster recovery solutions with the replica node, and then also make sure that there is an automatic failover in case of data loss fear. And this allows you coming with different business and enterprise plans. But you can select a plan which allows you to have a full replica set and the backup included. There's the encrypted storage engine, so that encryption is ensured at rest and in transport. in this solution, and you then have the transport layer security and security sockets layer as normal. MongoDB is coming with a easily visualization layer, which allows you to guide and maneuver through your data world. I have taken a little picture on the right hand, that's my MongoDB Compass. And of course, our MongoDB is ensuring all relevant audit logs that you need for your auditing and to make sure that you are fulfilling all requirements around the auditing. MongoDB is also coming with a connector BI, and the connector BI is in the end the SQL bridge from a NoSQL world to an SQL world, and it helps you to seamlessly visualize or create graphs and have an end-to-end view also then in the world that speaks MySQL, for example, outside. And of course, you have a role-based access control model, which allows you to have clear access rules and responsibilities for users that can be granted different access levels across the database. Overall, as I said before, we offer MongoDB as a seamless experience on OVH Public Cloud. And you can connect it with a private network to OVH Private Cloud or bare metal to have a hybrid scenario fully out of one contract with OVHcloud, or you can connect it with via the public network with whatever you want in the end. You have, due to the fact that it's based on public cloud managed solution, which is scalable, high available, and has a VREC access. The contract itself is a little bit different than to what you are used from MongoDB normally. So what you do is you go to the OVHcloud, and I will show that in a second if I manage to switch the control here. You go to the OVHcloud public cloud area, and then you select MongoDB, and I'll show that hopefully now. And then you have a MongoDB contract. So I am now in the OVHcloud dashboard. You can see my my profile here. I'm in the public cloud dashboard. I refresh that a bit. And what we want to do is we want to set up a database, and we are currently in the beta. So you can see the beta here. We go to the database area and try to set up a database. You can see I already started a MongoDB Essential database, but that's the running one. I create a new one. And that's what we want to do. So we choose a database. In this case, we have currently only MongoDB. This is the live system, so you can do that yourself automatically. Now, if you want to. So you choose MongoDB, and then you have to select one of the two packages. So it's either the Essential or the Business. Currently, because we are in a beta, you can use that for free. The beta is running approximately until end of August, and after that we move to the general availability solution with different prices then, which I show after this short demo. But let's say we go for an Essential solution. You can see it has 2 to 32 cores, 50 gigabyte and one node. In the business solution, you would have 3 nodes included and could go up to 8 nodes. Now we have to select the location. Currently, because we are in the beta, it's only Gravelines. So that is our data center in the north of France, where you can use that. And then you select the features. So you select one of these packages, whether you want to have 7 gigabyte RAM with 2 cores and so on. There's a number of packages, all for free currently. I just take one for the purpose of the demo, and then you can configure the name of your database. We call it the webinar database. We say we want to have it connected to the public network, and then we get an overview of the database configuration as it is. Here you can also see the if you want to create it via the API, you can go through that source code or code snippet. And you can see now I started the database. The database is being created, will be available in a few minutes. And then I need to create a new admin password. That's fine. What I wanted to show you as well is this here. So if you have the data, the Mongo software already installed, how do you access now this database? Because you created that database on OVHcloud. You go down here and you can have a look whether you want how you want to access that via the application or the Mongo shell. And then you have here that your access lines, which you can just copy and then use in the applications itself. And if we go here, then we can see, okay, see, that is the one that I started 2 days ago. That's already up and running. And this one, the creation is in process, but it will take it just 1 or 2 minutes, and then it is finalized and created. Exactly. So this was the demonstration I wanted to do, and I return to the slides then. Okay, so that was how you do that. So you set up the MongoDB instance in the OVHcloud public cloud wizard, and then you said you get a MongoDB license bought by it. That's the screenshot for that. What are the differentiators if you use this solution compared to other solutions? In the end, you have the sole control over your data because it's on a trusted cloud. You can leverage open source because our public cloud is based on OpenStack, and because of this OpenStack solution, you avoid any vendor lock-in. You can focus on adding value because you don't need to manage the database yourself. That's done by OVHcloud. And you can make sure that you stay on budget because you have a simple, predictable pricing logic. The pricing logic is this one. I go to the other slide in a second. So we offer 3 packages, Essential, Business, and Enterprise, which have different usage scenarios, but that's just a hint from our perspective. You can, of course, use them for whatever you want to. There are different clusters included. So 1 virtual machine up to 3 virtual machines. Backup is automatically included in different versions. There are also advanced backup. And then you have different features. So MongoDB with a public network. If you want to go with a private network and high availability, so higher SLA, then you need to go to the business solution. And if you want to have the full package, including also support from MongoDB itself and not only from us, then you need to go through to the enterprise package. And the MongoDB licenses are either the community or the enterprise one, and they're coming with an SLA. As I said, we are in a beta. You can use this for free now, immediately. You can go after this directly on the workbench of OVHcloud, public cloud, and then do what I did to create your database and then get started with it immediately. So your database is on demand and will be set up in minutes. We just did that a second ago. The service will be managed fully by OVHcloud. So setup, maintenance, update, and backups are done by OVHcloud. You do not need to take care of that. It will make sure that you can explore your data in every way you want to. You can get the resources you need. So if you need more storage, if you need more computing power, not an issue at all. And the backup is included. That's a very relevant feature that helps you to sleep safer. Put it like that. The pricing is very competitive if you look at it. So Essential will come with $34.99, Business with $109, and then Enterprise with $15.99. So what are the main reasons if you are already to move to this solution compared to other solutions? So if you are already a user of MongoDB, and you deployed it on your own data center, on your own hardware, then of course this solution will make it easier because you do not need to take care of the management of the solution itself any longer, and you can focus on your main topics, which is your application development or whatever you actually do as your business. If you want to test MongoDB, that's perfect, because public cloud requires no real upfront payment. You pay what you use, especially in the beta now. You don't even pay that, so you can use it totally for free. If you want to move from a test environment to a production environment, then your developers can focus totally on the go to live of your solution itself, and they don't need to take care of all the setups of databases, which is a lot to do to set up a database properly and to make sure that the backup is done and the high availability. That all is done by OVHcloud for you, and that makes it then easier for you. And of course, if you are looking at critical data, then the trusted cloud below, so the OVHcloud promise of a open trusted cloud, Gaia-X and rules ensured, GDPR compliant, vendor login free. That is all what you get as the whole package. Right. So just in a nutshell, if you want to start testing, go for it. Go to the webpage, start immediately. You can do that now in our data center in Gravelines. We are working on the rollout step by step after the full product launch. So the full product launch will come in September. And after that, we will add soon one data center after the other. So if you want to have, for example, your data center in Limburg covered, then this will be coming soon after the launch. But for the time being, for the beta test, it's Gravelines in the north of France. So thank you a lot for your attention. If you want to use the public beta, go for it. We are really looking forward to your usage, to your support, and to your feedback on the solution, and it will then be up and running as a full-fledged solution from September onwards. And with that, I wish you a lovely weekend and a nice Friday rest of the day. Thank you. Goodbye.